Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate a journey that proves greatness is never accidental. It is earned. Joe Ranga's path to glory is not a tale of luck, but a testament to discipline, courage, and relentless belief in oneself. His story teaches us that glory is not found at the finish line. It is shaped with every step, every sacrifice, and every moment of refusing to give up. Joe began with nothing more than a dream and the fire to pursue it. Many doubted him, some underestimated him, but Joe understood something powerful. You don't need people to believe in your dream when you have the strength to chase it alone. He worked in silence, he struggled in darkness, and he rose through challenges that would have broken the weak-hearted. His glory was not defined by a single victory. It was carved through years of consistency, resilience, and the courage to stand tall when the world tried to pull him down. From every failure he learned. From every setback he grew. And from every victory he remained humble, because he knew his journey was far greater than anyone's success. Joe Ranga's path reminds us that glory is earned when passion meets perseverance. It is achieved when we walk forward even when the road gets difficult. And it becomes meaningful when our success inspires others to chase their own dreams. Today, as we honor Joe Ranga, we honor the truth that lives within each of us. Greatness is possible. Glory is attainable. And every one of us has the power to rise. This is not just Joe Ranga's story. It is a reminder that your path to glory begins the moment you decide to take your first step. Glory is never something that arrives suddenly or falls from the sky without warning. It is the direct result of countless hours of effort, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. In Joe Ranga's journey, glory was not a gift handed to him, nor was it something he stumbled upon by chance. It was something he built brick by brick through determination and relentless effort. From the very beginning, Joe understood that success does not come to those who merely wish for it. It comes to those who work for it daily, even when the work feels heavy, even when there is no applause, even when the world is silent. He embraced the long nights, the early mornings, and the constant demand to improve himself. He learned that glory requires patience, discipline, and the courage to face discomfort head-on. Joe's path teaches us that each step towards glory requires intention. It demands pushing past limitations, ignoring excuses, and maintaining focus when distractions try to pull you away from your goals. He didn't rely on luck or shortcuts. Instead, he chose the harder route, the route where effort becomes your identity, where determination becomes your strength, and where consistency becomes your greatest weapon. In this way, Joe earned his glory through perseverance, through the willingness to fail and try again, and through the belief that the process is just as important as the outcome. His success stands as a powerful reminder that anything truly valuable in life must be pursued with heart, effort, and an unbreakable spirit. Belief in oneself is the first pillar on which every great journey is built, and for Joe Ranga, this belief became the driving force behind everything he achieved. Long before others recognized his potential, Joe had to recognize it within himself. He had to trust his vision even when it was unclear to the world, and he had to rely on his inner confidence when external support was scarce. Joe understood a deep truth. No one will invest in your dream if you don't invest in it first. There were moments when he stood alone, when people questioned his decisions, and when progress seemed slow or invisible. Yet, he kept moving forward because his self-belief acted like a compass, guiding him through uncertainty and anchoring him during moments of doubt. This belief wasn't based on ego or arrogance. It was built on a quiet, steady conviction that he was capable of becoming more. He believed that his efforts would eventually lead to something meaningful, even if he could not yet see the results. That inner faith pushed him to continue when others would have stopped. It gave him the resilience to face criticism, the strength to rise after disappointments, and the clarity to stay committed to his vision. Through Joe's journey, we learned that believing in oneself is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. It requires reminding yourself of your purpose, reaffirming your abilities, and refusing to let fear or insecurities dictate your path. Joe's unshakable self-belief became the foundation on which every other achievement was built, proving that the first person who must believe in your greatness is you yourself. Challenges are not obstacles meant to stop us. They are shaping tools designed to build our strength, character, and resilience. In Joe Ranga's journey, challenges played one of the most powerful roles in his transformation. They were not setbacks that discouraged him. They were turning points that refined him. From the earliest stages of his path, Joe faced difficulties that would have made many people quit. There were moments of exhaustion, moments of disappointment, and moments when progress felt painfully slow. But instead of avoiding these struggles, he embraced them. Joe understood that true champions are not created in comfort. They are forged through adversity. Every challenge he encountered pushed him to think differently, to work harder, and to develop qualities he didn't even know he possessed. Whether it was criticism from others, unexpected failures, or the pressure of high expectations, Joe used each challenge as a lesson. He analyzed his mistakes, adjusted his approach, and returned stronger every single time. These difficulties shaped his mindset, teaching him patience, discipline, and emotional toughness. They taught him that success is never guaranteed, but improvement always is, if you are willing to learn from hardship rather than fear it. With every obstacle he overcame, Joe gained a deeper understanding of who he was and what he was capable of achieving. Through his experience, it becomes clear that challenges are not the enemies of progress. They are the architects of greatness. They push us beyond our limits, reveal our hidden potential, and prepare us for the victories ahead. Joe Ranga's story proves that the individuals who rise the highest are often the ones who have endured the most, because each challenge they faced became a stepping stone that lifted them closer to their goals. Consistency is one of the most powerful yet underestimated forces behind any great achievement, and in Joe Ranga's journey, it served as the engine that kept him moving forward. While motivation can fade, excitement can weaken, and inspiration can fluctuate, consistency remains the steady force that turns small actions into extraordinary results. Joe understood that the secret to long-term success was not found in occasional bursts of effort but in showing up every single day, regardless of how he felt. In Joe's path to glory, consistency meant committing to the process even on days when progress was invisible. It meant practicing when no one was watching, working hard when no one was cheering, and staying disciplined when comfort tried to pull him away from his goals. His consistency built habits, and those habits became the routines that shaped his mindset, sharpened his skills, and strengthened his discipline. As Joe continued to show up each day, something powerful began to happen. Momentum started to build. His small improvements accumulated, his confidence grew, and what once felt difficult became a natural part of his daily life. This momentum pushed him forward, enabling him to overcome challenges that would have been impossible if he had been inconsistent. Consistency also taught him patience, the understanding that great things take time and that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. Instead of rushing or seeking shortcuts, Joe trusted the process. He recognized that every disciplined action, no matter how small, contributed to the bigger picture of who he was becoming. Through this unwavering commitment, Joe proved that consistency is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is the quiet, continuous effort that transforms dreams into reality, one step, one habit, and one day at a time. Failure is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or defeat, but in Joe Ranga's journey, it became one of his greatest teachers. Instead of viewing failure as a final stop, Joe saw it as a crucial part of his growth, a mirror that reflected where he needed to improve and a guide that pointed him toward better choices. He realized early on that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. When Joe encountered setbacks, he didn't allow disappointment to cloud his vision. Every failure brought him valuable lessons that success could never provide. Each mistake showed him what to refine, each obstacle revealed what to strengthen, and every loss added to his wisdom. While others feared failure and avoided risks, Joe embraced the experience because he understood that failure sharpens character and builds resilience. He treated failure like a classroom. Instead of asking, "Why me?" he asked, "What is this trying to teach me?" This shift in mindset allowed him to grow faster and wiser than the people around him. Joe didn't hide from his failures, he studied them. He broke them down, understood their causes, and used them to shape better strategies for the future. Moreover, failure strengthened Joe's emotional resilience. It taught him to stay calm under pressure, to persevere even when things didn't go as planned, and to trust the process even when the results were not immediate. These lessons became the foundation of his mental toughness, giving him the strength to rise again after every fall. Through this approach, Joe discovered one of the most powerful truths in life. Failure is not the end of the journey, it is the beginning of a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Each time he stumbled, he returned with more clarity, more focus, and more determination, turning every setback into a stepping stone for his next breakthrough. Humility is one of the rare qualities that keeps a person grounded even as they rise to extraordinary heights, and in Joe Ranga's journey, it became a defining part of his character. While success has the power to inflate egos and distort judgment, Joe chose a different path, the path of remaining humble, grateful, and connected to his values no matter how far he climbed. As Joe began achieving more and receiving recognition, he never allowed praise to overshadow the discipline that built him. He understood that glory is not just about reaching the top, but about how you carry yourself once you get there. Instead of boasting about his achievements, he let his actions speak for him. He remembered the struggles he faced, the failures he endured, and the effort it took to rise. These memories kept him grounded and respectful of the journey. Humility also shaped the way Joe treated others. He valued the people around him, listened to their ideas, and showed respect regardless of their background or status. He never saw himself as superior. Instead, he believed that everyone has something meaningful to contribute. This mindset helped him build strong relationships, earn trust, and inspire others without ever forcing his influence. Another powerful aspect of Joe's humility was his willingness to continue learning. Many people stop growing once they achieve success, but Joe understood that greatness is a continuous process. He remained open to feedback, sought guidance from mentors, and stayed curious about new ways to improve. This openness kept him evolving while others stagnated. Humility protected Joe from the dangers of overconfidence. It reminded him that success can fade if it is not supported by integrity, discipline, and gratitude. By staying humble, he maintained clarity of purpose, avoided distractions, and remained focused on the work that truly mattered. His humility was not a weakness. It was a strength that allowed him to rise higher without losing himself along the way. In a world filled with loud voices, empty promises, and constant noise, Joe Ranga understood something profoundly powerful: that true inspiration does not come from speeches or declarations, but from consistent, undeniable action. He believed that people are not moved by what you say you will do, they are moved by what they see you do. And throughout his journey, Joe became a living example of this principle. Rather than trying to impress others with words, Joe focused on living his truth through disciplined effort and unwavering dedication. Every choice he made, every sacrifice he embraced, and every challenge he overcame became a message in itself, a message more powerful than any motivational talk. His actions showed others that success is possible, growth is real, and transformation begins with small steps taken consistently. People around him watched how he handled adversity. They observed how he remained calm during chaos, how he stayed committed even on difficult days, and how he carried himself with humility despite rising success. These behaviors influenced others far more deeply than anything he could have said aloud. His journey became a source of hope for those who doubted themselves, proof for those who felt stuck, and motivation for those who needed a reminder that progress is always within reach. Joe also understood the responsibility that comes with being an example. He knew that his actions had the power to impact others, not through pressure but through inspiration. He didn't try to force anyone to follow him. Instead, he became someone worth following. His determination pushed others to set higher standards for themselves. His resilience gave people the courage to try again after failing. And his quiet discipline encouraged others to build stronger habits in their own lives. In this way, Joe's impact grew far beyond his personal achievements. His lifestyle became a blueprint for those seeking direction, a spark for those seeking courage, and a reminder that the most powerful form of leadership comes from doing, not telling. He inspired not by demanding admiration, but by showing what is possible when passion and persistence align. One of the most powerful lessons in Joe Ranga's journey is the realization that greatness is not reserved for a chosen few. It is available to anyone who is willing to pursue it with dedication and courage. Joe's rise was not based on special privileges, extraordinary luck, or perfect circumstances. It was built on choices, habits, and the belief that every person carries a unique potential waiting to be awakened. His story reminds us that glory is not a gift. It is an opportunity, and that opportunity exists within every individual. Joe's path shows that no one starts at the finish line. Every champion begins somewhere, often in silence, often in struggle, often facing doubts from others or even from themselves. But what separates those who rise from those who remain stagnant is the willingness to take the first step, no matter how small, and the determination to keep moving even when the road becomes difficult. Joe understood that glory is not about perfection. It is about persistence. He believed that every person has a talent, a dream, or a spark inside them, but most people never discover it because they are afraid to try or afraid to fail. Joe's journey challenges that fear. It demonstrates that your path to glory becomes possible the moment you decide to believe in your capabilities and take action toward your vision. He proved that ordinary beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes when matched with discipline, commitment, and self-belief. Joe's story also highlights the idea that glory looks different for everyone. For some, it may be mastering a skill. For others, it may be achieving a personal goal, overcoming a struggle, or becoming a better version of themselves. There is no single definition of glory. What matters is the journey of growth, transformation, and self-discovery that each person undertakes. Through his example, Joe reinforces the truth that dreams are not limited by background, circumstances, or obstacles. They are limited only by the courage to pursue them. His path shows that anyone, regardless of where they begin, can rise, evolve, and carve out their own place in the world by embracing dedication, belief, and relentless determination. Dreams give direction, but discipline gives them life. This is a truth Joe Ranga learned early in his journey, and it became one of the most defining principles of his rise. While many people dream of success, only a few embrace the discipline required to transform those dreams into something real. Joe understood that discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, the daily commitment that transforms "I want to be" into "I am becoming." For Joe, discipline was not just about strict routines or forced habits. It was a mindset, a way of living with purpose. He recognized that greatness does not come from occasional effort. It comes from consistent action repeated day after day, even when motivation fades. Discipline meant waking up early when he wanted to sleep, practicing his craft when he felt tired, and staying focused when distractions tried to pull him away from his mission. He accepted that discipline often feels uncomfortable, but he also learned that growth begins where comfort ends. Every disciplined moment strengthened his character. Every sacrifice sharpened his focus. Every day of effort compounded into measurable progress that others could see but few truly understood. While some people waited for the right moment, Joe created the right moment through determination and routine. Joe also discovered that discipline brings clarity. When you stay committed to your path, your mind becomes focused and your goals become sharper. You no longer waste energy on things that don't matter because discipline teaches you to prioritize. It trains your mind to choose long-term success over short-term pleasure, responsibility over excuses, and action over hesitation. Through discipline, Joe learned that success is not built in the spotlight but in silence. In the quiet hours when no one is watching, when the world is asleep, when effort feels unrecognized. But those silent hours became the foundation of his achievements. They shaped his identity, toughened his mindset, and prepared him for every challenge that followed. Joe's journey proves that discipline is not about being perfect. It is about being committed. It is the daily promise you make to yourself to keep moving, keep improving, and keep believing even when it's hard. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve, and Joe chose to be among the achievers by honoring his commitments every single day. Vision is the compass that directs every meaningful journey, and for Joe Ranga, it was the guiding force that shaped his path to glory. From the very beginning, he had a clear picture of what he wanted to achieve, even if the path to reach it was uncertain. This vision gave him purpose, focus, and the determination to keep moving forward when obstacles appeared, distractions arose, or doubts crept in. Joe's vision was not just a dream, it was a well-defined map of possibilities. He knew where he wanted to go, and he allowed that vision to influence every decision he made, every action he took, and every sacrifice he embraced. It provided him with clarity in moments of confusion, courage in moments of fear, and persistence in moments of exhaustion. Without this guiding vision, his efforts might have been scattered, inconsistent, or lost in the noise of everyday life. Moreover, Joe understood that a vision must be more than a personal goal. It must inspire growth, learning, and resilience. His vision pushed him to develop skills, to overcome challenges, and to expand his capacity beyond what he initially believed possible. It forced him to step out of comfort zones, to challenge limitations, and to embrace discomfort as a necessary part of progress. Joe's vision also helped him stay patient and disciplined. He realized that achieving greatness is a long-term endeavor, and that short-term setbacks cannot derail someone with a clear vision. Even when success was not immediate, his vision reminded him of the bigger picture and motivated him to persist through difficult times. Through his journey, Joe demonstrated that vision is the foundation of intentional living. It transforms random effort into meaningful progress, turns obstacles into opportunities for growth, and aligns daily actions with long-term goals. With a vision as strong as Joe's, every step, no matter how small, becomes purposeful, and every challenge becomes a chance to move closer to the life you are determined to create. Resilience is the inner strength that allows a person to endure hardships, recover from setbacks, and continue striving toward their goals. And for Joe Ranga, it was one of the most critical qualities that sustained his journey. Life is full of unpredictability, and every path to greatness is filled with obstacles, failures, and moments of doubt. Joe understood that without resilience, even talent and hard work could be wasted, because the inevitable challenges would overwhelm anyone who lacks the ability to bounce back. Joe's resilience was not something he was born with. It was developed over time through experience, perseverance, and conscious effort. Each setback he encountered became a lesson, each criticism an opportunity to grow, and each failure a chance to strengthen his resolve. He learned to view obstacles not as insurmountable walls but as tests of his determination and opportunities to evolve. Resilience also taught Joe patience and perspective. He realized that success is rarely immediate and that growth often comes slowly, requiring consistent effort over time. Rather than becoming frustrated or discouraged by temporary setbacks, he used them as motivation to continue working harder, smarter, and with renewed focus. He understood that the path to glory is rarely straight or smooth, and the ability to recover and keep moving forward is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Moreover, resilience allowed Joe to maintain confidence in his abilities even in the face of repeated failures or external doubt. It strengthened his mindset, enabling him to adapt, innovate, and persevere when circumstances changed. By cultivating resilience, he was able to stay committed to his vision, maintain discipline in his actions, and overcome challenges that might have broken someone less determined. Through his example, Joe Ranga illustrates that resilience is not just a reaction to adversity. It is a proactive quality that sustains long-term growth, protects one's focus, and fuels the relentless pursuit of goals. Resilience is the bridge between temporary failure and ultimate success, empowering individuals to endure, learn, and rise stronger after every challenge. True glory is not measured solely by personal achievements, awards, or recognition. It is measured by the lasting impact one leaves on others and the world. For Joe Ranga, the concept of legacy became a guiding principle that shaped not just his actions but the intention behind them. He realized early on that his journey was not only about personal success, but about creating a meaningful influence that could inspire, uplift, and guide others long after he had moved forward. Joe understood that every decision he made, every act of discipline, and every challenge he overcame contributed to a story far greater than himself. By striving to help, teach, or inspire others through his actions, he ensured that his impact would extend beyond immediate results. He recognized that a legacy is not built in moments of comfort or ease, but through consistent contributions, sacrifices, and leadership that touch lives in tangible and intangible ways. Moreover, Joe's legacy was shaped by the way he treated people along his journey. His humility, integrity, and compassion created trust and admiration, setting an example for others to follow. He understood that achievements without positive influence are fleeting, while the values and inspiration shared with others can ripple through generations. His actions demonstrated that influence is not about fame or authority, but about lifting others and empowering them to realize their own potential. Joe also recognized that leaving a legacy requires foresight and intention. It is not accidental. By living deliberately, focusing on meaningful goals, and using his successes to motivate others, he ensured that every step of his journey contributed to a lasting story. He became more than a person who succeeded. He became a symbol of possibility, resilience, and the transformative power of dedication. Through Joe Ranga's example, we see that true greatness is inseparable from the impact one leaves behind. Achievements may fade, but the lives we touch, the inspiration we share, and the example we set endure. Legacy is the culmination of every effort, sacrifice, and lesson shared, creating a path for others to follow and expanding the meaning of success beyond ourselves. Joe Ranga's journey teaches us that glory is not a destination. It is a journey shaped by belief, discipline, resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward no matter the odds. His story reminds us that every challenge is an opportunity, every failure is a lesson, and every step taken with purpose brings us closer to our dreams. As we reflect on Joe's path, let it inspire us to embrace our own journey with the same passion, perseverance, and humility. Let us remember that greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It is available to anyone willing to commit, to work tirelessly, and to stay true to their vision. So take the lessons from Joe Ranga's path, apply them to your own life, and step boldly toward your own glory, knowing that the power to rise, to inspire, and to leave a lasting impact lies within you. If you want, I can now combine all 12 expanded key points with this ending into a full, polished speech ready for presentation or video narration. It will be seamless and impactful. Do you want me to do that?